Welcome, my dear children. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the remaining part of practical number 2. In practical number 2, in previous session, we studied about plant tissues, in which we observed the specimen which was having plant tissues, parenchymatous tissues, sclerenchymatous tissues, and collenchymatous tissues. In today's session, we are going to discuss about animal tissue, and this session is a part of the previous practical only. So, when we were studying about the chapter cell and tissues, that time we studied that there are so many types of tissues which are present in animals also. So we have a bit knowledge about all these type of muscles which we are going to discuss today. These muscles are striated, non-striated, cardiac and nervous tissues. So let us begin the session. In this slide, you can see a structure is shown there. And if you will focus more on the structure, you will come to know that there certain kind of pattern is present on the structure. What is this pattern actually? You can see some dotted lines, then some horizontal parallel lines, then again dotted line, then again parallel line. This is a form of band. There are two types of bands which are present on these muscles, and these bands are occurring alternatively one after the other. And this is giving it an appearance like a striations. That is why it is called as striated muscles. If you will focus more onto this structure in higher classes, you will study these are actually light and dark bands, which gives its appearance of striations. That is why these muscles are called as striated muscles. So let us look at the comments which are shown here in this slide. The first comment is, these muscles show long cylindrical fibers. The cells are multinucleated, means within a cell there are so many nucleus, more than one nucleus is present. So here in this diagram also you can see total 4 nucleuses are present. So these cells are multinucleated cells. The muscles show alternate dark and light bands. The cells are surrounded and held by connective tissues. So around these tissues, around these cells, there are connective tissues. You know now, when we move our body, there are muscles and bones involved, and in that muscles, connective tissue is also involved. So this connective tissue is present outside these striated muscles only, around these striated muscles only. The cells are surrounded by the membrane called as sarcolemma. Then in this slide you can see again the same structure is there, and then you have to write inference. In inference you will write 2 points. The slide shows cylindrical fibers with dark and light bands. These are voluntary muscles and work according to our will. So whenever we want to move certain part of our body, we move it only because of these muscles. So that is why these muscles are under our control. The movement of these muscles is according to our desire. That is why these muscles are called as voluntary muscles. Now let us focus on to the another type of muscle, that is non-striated or smooth muscles. These muscles are spindle shaped. Nucleus is centrally located. These muscles do not show any dark or light band striations. Non-striated muscles are involuntary muscles, or these are involuntary. We cannot control the movement of these muscles. They show their contraction and relaxation according to the system which is already running inside the body. So the movement and contraction and relaxation of these muscles are not in our control. That is why these muscles are called as involuntary muscles. They are found in blood vessels, in alimentary canal, etc. Here is the structure of these non-striated muscles. You can see that there is no as such dark and light bands are present, and you can see that the ends of these muscles are tapering, means becoming pointed, and within a single muscle cell there is one nucleus only. So these are uninucleated cells, and you can see myofibrils and muscle fibers are present there in these muscles. Now let us focus on to the inference of these muscles. The cells of non-striated muscles are tapering at both the ends, that is spindle shape. Its shape is spindle. Tapering means it is becoming narrow, and at the end becoming pointed structure. This kind of a structure is called as spindle shape, and the ends which are becoming narrow and becoming pointed are called as tapering end. The nucleus is prominent and is centrally located. The dark and light bands are not seen. Now moving on to the next type of muscles, that is cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles itself tells you that it is something related to the heart muscles, or the muscles which are present in heart are called as cardiac muscles. And we all know that heart is a very important organ in our body. When you are sleeping or awake, when you are taking rest or doing some harsh work, all the time your heart has to work. That is why the muscles of these heart is a very special type, and these are called as cardiac muscles. So let us focus on to the comments of cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles cells are long, branched and uninucleated. They show alternate light and dark bands. These are involuntary muscles. They are seen only in the walls of heart. So there is a wall or an outer membrane layer of the heart which is called as pericardium. So these muscles are present there. They are non-tiring muscles and responsible for rhythmic contraction and relaxation of heart muscles throughout life. So here is a structure of these cardiac muscles. You can see these are a branched structure, and so many nucleuses are present inside this, and some faint dark and light bands are there. So cross striations are present in it. Inference of these cardiac muscles, these cells are branched, and each cell consists of single cell. The striations are seen. So in your journal, children, you are going to draw this diagram which is shown here in this slide. When you will be writing about the your striated muscles, in front of that observation of striated muscles, you will draw the diagram of striated muscle fibers. When you are writing non-striated muscles, in front of that on the plain paper side, you will draw the diagram of the same. And when you are writing about the cardiac muscles, you will draw the diagram of cardiac muscles. So it should be in a systematic way. Now moving on to another very important type of cell, that is a nerve cell. It is also known as neuron. So the nerve cells has a neuron with a long body called cyton. This body forms the upper part, or you can say a major star-like branch part of a neuron, which is called as cyton, and from that cyton only one side project towards another end in a form of long structure which makes another part of this neuron, that is called as axon. The cyton has a prominent nucleus. It has projections called dendrites. One of the dendrite which is long called axon. The nerve endings are attached to the muscles. Here is a diagram of neuron. Children, while drawing the diagram of neuron, be very careful when you are making this axon structure. When you are making these dendrites, you have to draw it very carefully. Now you are in 9th standard, so we expect correct diagram from you, and you just keep the diagram in front of you. Whatever journal you are following, from that journal only you draw the diagram, correct diagram of neuron. Now moving on to the inference of neuron. Each nerve cell consists of prominent nucleus and granular cytoplasm with projections called dendrites.